All right. Let's get started without getting any delay. So today I'm going to talk about reading fill in the blanks basic skills. See, in PT examination, reading section is one of the most difficult section because there are no tips and tricks or any strategy that you can use. But there are certain skills that you can learn. There are certain skills that you can learn to make your fill in the blanks make it easier, right? Fill in the blanks make it easier because fill in the blanks, that's the section that you have to focus on because that is the section that gives you 25% for reading. To fill in the blanks, drag and drop down, both of them gives you 25% each for reading. The other fill in the blanks, drop down fill in the blanks gives you 20% for writing as well. That's bonus, right? So these are the two sections that you need to focus on mainly to get a good score in reading. Apart from that, there are a few other sections in speaking, in writing, or in listening. So these are the sections. There are some sections that gives you mark reading as well, and they are read aloud from the speaking part, summarize written text from writing, and then there is another section called highlight incorrect word from listening section. These are the sections that gives you extra mark for reading. So focus on these sections as well. If your target is band 7 or is band 8, you have to focus on these sections as well. If you go to reading, fill in the blanks is your guy. Fill in the blanks. Don't focus more on MCQ because it only carries 1%. Fill in the blanks is your guy. So if you're doing fill in the blanks and someone is telling you that, okay, follow this technique, follow this trick, and you will get is band 7 or is band 8 in fill in the blanks, then he or she is either telling you lie or he or she wants to sell you something because there are no tricks or tips for fill in the blanks. Again, there are certain skills that you can learn to make a fill in the blanks look easier. Today, I'm going to talk to you just a little bit about basic skills that you can use in fill in the blanks, and I'm going to do one fill in the blanks. So stay with me. So reading fill in the blanks basic skills. There are 4 skills altogether in total that you can use in fill in the blanks. The first is grammar. See, grammar is a very vast subject. We have been studying grammar since our early childhood, right? And we're still studying. So grammar is a very vast subject. You can't study that within a month or within 2 months. But there are a few things that you need to consider in grammar. There are a few sections that you can focus on and only basic skills. For example, let's say if you just have a basic information about verb, noun, adverb, adjective, tense, preposition, conjunctions, and article. If you have a basic knowledge about these sections, that will help you with your grammar skills. And the next thing is vocabulary. That is the meaning of the word. You should know some vocabulary. If you don't know the vocabulary, then you won't be able to find out if this option is the right option or not because you don't know the meaning, right? You don't know the meaning. How are you gonna test? How are you gonna say that this is the right option? You just have to guess, right? So having to know some meanings, having to know some vocabulary is always helpful. The third and the most important is contextual knowledge. It is the common sense or the idea of that sentence. When you read the fill in the blanks, you have to read the sentence. You have to read the full sentence and get the idea of what's going on in that sentence. What is the sentence talking about? Find the idea, get the common sense of that sentence, and then try to think which option is the best option for this sentence with this meaning. That's contextual knowledge, and we solve most of the sentences, most of the fill in the blanks using contextual knowledge. So in that case, you have to use our common sense. And the fourth and least important is collocations, and you will only get academic collocations in the PT examination, and it only comes very less, so you don't have to worry about it. Again, there are many collocations. If you go to Google and type academic collocations used in PT, you will see a long list of collocations, which I will say is not necessary to go through because that's a waste of extra time. In that time, you can practice more fill in the blanks, right? In that time, you can practice more fill in the blanks. So don't waste your time going through the collocations. But if you are practicing and if you came across few words that are collocations, then you have to understand that okay, this is collocation. So let me tell you, collocations are a phrasal verb that always comes side by side. 2 words that always come side by side. For example, active participation of students. Active participation, they come side by side. Human population, consumer rights, renewable source, they are academic collocations. They are collocations, they always come side by side. So I'm not going to talk about grammar, but I will tell you to go and study some of the basic knowledge about verb, noun, adverb, and adjective, tense. For tense, let me quickly show you. There are only 5 tense that you need to know: simple present tense, simple past tense, past perfect continuous, and present perfect tense. These are the only 5 tense that you need to know in PT, and this is going to make your life easier. Trust me again. So I'll just give you a short hint about tense. If if you read the sentence and I feel that it is in present tense, it's talking about something happening now, then in that box you have to search for either verb 1 or verb 5. If the sentence is talking about something that already happened, that is already happened in the past, then that means the sentence is in past tense. So in that box, you have to use verb 2. If there is no have, had, or has before the box, then you have to use either verb 1, verb 5. If it is in simple present tense, if it is in past tense, and if there is no had, have, use verb 2. If there's a box and before the box, if there is had or has or have, then in that box you will have verb 3 in that box. See, you will have verb 3 in the box if you have has, have, or had before the box. And if there is a box and before that box you have had been, then in that box you will get verb ing, so verb 4. See? Study this structure, go through it, then you will know. Prepositions and conjunctions are another important grammar skills that you need to learn for drop down fill in the blanks. Drop down fill in the blanks, which is the most important. Prepositions and conjunctions. Again, let's not go in detail, but there are certain prepositions is any word that describes the position of word, right? You should know the usability of all these prepositions, like into, on, near, off, in, to. So these are certain words like with, within, in, into, for, since, during, in. So these are a few prepositions that are very important. And conjunctions, so these are some conjunctions that actually comes in examination, and you need to know what at what condition we get this type of conjunctions, like although, though, if, unless, wherever, because, since, things like that. And after that there is not much things about grammar. And article a and the, you should know about articles. It's very simple, right? A and the, simple. So these are the basic grammar skills that you need to know. Go through it, go to Google, search for every single items from the grammar skill, and then you will learn most of the things you need to know and actually learn it. That's actually better. All right, here is one fill in the blanks for reading and writing. Drop down fill in the blanks. Let's do this question, right? All right. Over 60 years after Amelia Earhart vanished. So in drop down fill in the blanks, you don't have options. In the option pool, you have 4 options for each fill in the blank. For each box, you have 4 different options. You just have to click in that downward arrow, and it will pop up with all 4 options. And most of the time, the options look similar, and that is the reason why it makes it difficult. But let me tell you that if you have 4 options, so there are 2 options which have similar meaning, and there is another option which is the right answer that gives the right meaning, but then there is another option which gives the complete different meaning. So you may be confused between the first 3 words, but the 4th option which gives complete different meaning, that's opt out, because there's one word which doesn't match in that box. So one word you can easily opt out. Now there are three words. So then there are 3 words, 2 cases. First case, if these 2 words have the similar meaning and you are 100% sure that this word is not the right answer, then this word is also not the right answer, right? Because both of them have the same meaning. If 2 words have same meaning, normally you will get 2 words with same meaning, okay, most of the time. If this word, you are 100% sure that this is not the right answer, then that means this is also not the right answer because their meaning is same. So this option is the right answer, right? Case 2, you have 3 options left, and these 2 options are similar in meaning, and you think that, okay, this is also right, this is also right. Which option to go for? So this option is opted out already because we have 2 options which are 100% close, which are 100% close to each other, and then both of them seems right. And this option seems right, but the less. So this option is opted out. Now we have 2 options left. In those 2 options, if both the options have the similar meaning, always go for the fancy word. If 2 options are there and both of them seems right, both of them have similar meaning, always go with the fancy word. I'll tell you what it means. All right, let's look at this question. Over 60 years after Amelia Earhart vanished dash in the Pacific during her attempt to become blah 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 blah. So this person has vanished in the Pacific. So how has she vanished? So this is this is an adverb now. See, adverb describes how this happened. So she has vanished, but how did she vanish? Strangely, oddly, mysteriously, carelessly. See, I told you, if you have 4 options, then one option does not match the sentence, right? Carelessly, she has vanished carelessly. Who vanishes carelessly, right? Carelessly is opted out. So that option doesn't match at all. So here, 4th option is opted out. Now we have 3 options. Again, I told you 3 options. And among these 3 options, there are 2 options which have same meaning or similar meaning. And if one is right, the other has you have to look for the fancy word. If one is wrong, then both of them are wrong. And the 3rd option is right. So here, strangely, oddly, and mysteriously. So all these 3 words sound similar, but oddly is like oddly is not strangely. Oddly means odd one out. Oddly means odd one out. So we don't have many options. So oddly is not the right answer. If we have like 2 or 3 options and one option is odd one out, then we can say, okay, this is oddly. This is oddly out, this is oddly vanished or whatever. But vanished means oddly doesn't sound right. Vanished, strangely vanished, or mysteriously vanished. Both are right. Yeah. Strangely and mysteriously, both have similar meaning and both of them are right. Now, remember I told you, this is the trick here. This is the trick, guys. Remember, if you have two words and you think that both of them matches in that box and both of them has the same meaning, always go with the fancy word. Which is fancy? Strangely or mysteriously? Of course, mysteriously is more fancy, so I will go with mysteriously. See that? See the way how I am thinking? You have to think the same way, mate. So let's move on. In the Pacific, during her attempt to become the first person to dash the world around the equator, to dash the world, to fly the world, not so right, to go the world, okay, that doesn't make sense. To go the world, that doesn't make sense. To circumnavigate the world, do you know the meaning of circumnavigate? Now, here comes the play for vocabulary. See, before we use the grammar skills. Here, grammar skills, that's an adverb, and we have to use our common sense as well, which one to use, and then we use that. If you have two words, both of them are similar, go for the fancy word. We use that fancy word technique there in the first option. Here, second option, two plus verb one, grammar, but all of them are verb one, but then now we have to know the meaning of circumnavigate. Do you know the meaning of circumnavigate? The meaning of circumnavigate is to travel using navigation, navigation skills, like maybe for ships or planes. So ships and planes, they use the navigation skills. They have the compass to navigate. So if you are traveling using the navigation skills, that's called circumnavigate. Yeah. And then the next one is travel. All right. So let's read the sentence again. In the Pacific, that's an ocean, during her attempt to become the first person to dash the world along the equator. So this person is talking about traveling in the Pacific Ocean along the equator. So that's a long way, right? So to fly the world could be one option. To go the world, go is already again opted out. See, I told you four options. One option doesn't match at all. So go is that option which doesn't match at all. Now we have three options left: to fly the world, to circumnavigate the world, or to travel the world. Now all these options seem right. All these options seem right, right? So now let's think. Okay, travel the world. Okay, to travel the world, that is good. But then again, there's another option called fly, to fly the world. Okay, to fly the world, that may not be the right choice of word. To say to fly the world, to fly along the world. So to fly around the world, that could be the better word. So I would say that we have two options left now: to circumnavigate the world or to travel the world. Now, since this guy, whoever is it, he or she is trying to travel to the Pacific Ocean along the equator, maybe, so that means she will be traveling via plane or ship, right? Airplane or ship. In that case, she has to navigate. So I will say circumnavigate, because I know the meaning, right? I know the meaning, and circumnavigate means traveling using the navigation skill. So she has to navigate if she has to travel along the Pacific Ocean along the equator. So circumnavigate is the right option here. I mean, the most suitable option. We don't know the right answer is just the most suitable option, because travel could be anything. Traveling to work is travel. That's very common. But circumnavigate means traveling using the navigation skill. So we should know the meaning. Vocabulary comes into play here. But let's look at the next option. Blah blah blah. Accomplished pilot and aviation historian recreated and completed her idol's last flight as a dash to the aviation. So she completed her idol's. So there's an idol, right? She completed her idol's last flight as a dash to the aviation, as a tribute to the aviation. Oh, that sounds right. As a memory to the aviation, that sounds right as well. As an example, that doesn't match at all. See, if there is or, then there shouldn't be the word starting with vowel. If there should be an example, then there should be an article called an. Remember, article is skill from grammar. So example is opted out. As a mirror to the aviation, that doesn't make sense. As a mirror, who makes the travel, who makes the last flight as a mirror to the aviation, right? So mirror is out as well. So we have two options now: as a tribute to aviation pioneer, as a memory to aviation pioneer. So if we have to do something for my idol, I have to do as a tribute, right? So singers, you know how the singers sing a song as a tribute to the late singer or something like someone like that. So if we have to, if there's a person involved which is my idol, and I have to do something for the idol, then I do it as a tribute, right? As a tribute to the aviation pioneers' spirit and vision. So tribute is the right option. So this is contextual knowledge here. We understood the context of the sentence. We know now what the sentence is talking about, and then we use the contextual knowledge to find the option. See, again, we don't know the right answer, but this is what we think is the right answer. All right, let's move on. Although Miss Finch was not the first to attempt Earhart's around the world journey. She was the first to do it in a dash plane. So although she was not the first person to attempt the journey to that journey, so she was not the first to attempt that journey, but she was the first to do it in a something airplane, in a innovative airplane. Again, this option is out. Can you tell me why this option is out? Because it's innovative starting with I. Any word starting with A, E, I, O, U should have an article called an in front of that word. Here is O. The article is O, right? If there is O, then it shouldn't have any word starting with A, E, I, O, U. So this option is out. Now we have three options. In a historic airplane, in a normal airplane, in a sophisticated airplane. See, in a normal airplane is not the right answer, because already many people have already attempted that flight. This sentence already says that Miss Finch was not the first person to attempt the flight. Right? She wasn't the first person, but she was the first to do it in air. That means that should be something very interesting, something very good, something very great. Not all the people has done it. Not all the people have done it. There are many people who have already done it, but maybe they did it in a normal way. But this guy, he did it in an abnormal way. Abnormal way. So normal is definitely not the answer. Sophisticated could be, and we have another option called historic. See, historic. Since this passage is talking about something that was that is in the past, right? World Flight 1997, something that happened in 1997, and then they are talking about something model aircraft, same make and model. So this is talking about something very historic, right? They're talking about something in the past, and something, and then other people have traveled this journey, but then she was the first to do it in a historic airplane. Could be the right answer. Not the sophisticated airplane. Maybe the other people has traveled in a sophisticated airplane, but why did we know about her? Because she did it in a very abnormal condition, right? She did it in a very abnormal condition. That's why we remember her. If she was the first to do it in a sophisticated airplane, why were we reading this passage? No one would be reading this passage. No one would be writing about her if she was the first to do it. If she was the first to do it in a sophisticated airplane, no one would be talking about her. She did it. She was the first to do it in a historic airplane. That's why people are talking about. That's why this passage existed, right? So we have to think contextual knowledge, guys. Contextual knowledge. And then let's move to the next option. Over 1 million school children and others were able to follow the flight daily through an interactive website, part of a free multimedia dash program, blah, 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 provided by the British user. So there's a multimedia and something program. Multimedia institutional program, multimedia vocational program, multimedia educational program, multimedia additional program. All right, let's look back. If you see this sentence, it says school children. So this activity, whatever this program, that should be designed for school children. So what do you think? What do you think? There should be a multimedia program that is targeted to school children. Of course, it's educational, right? It could be, all right, it could be institutional, because school, it says school here, school is institution. It could be institutional. It could also be vocational, because that is also related to teaching. Additional is out of the list. Again, I told you 4 options. 1 option is out of the list already. So additional is out of the list. Now we have 3 options that could be the right answer: institutional, vocational, and educational. Now let's see which word is more close when you say school children. When I hear school children, when I hear school, the first thing that comes to my mind is education, right? Education. So if you hear school children, then the first thing that should come in our mind should be educational program, right? That's what I think. So this could be the right answer for me. All right, let's check our answers now. Let's submit, and then let's say mysteriously. The person vanished mysteriously. Circumnavigate, because that person is traveling along the world, along the equator via Pacific Ocean, and we need to navigate if you're traveling to ocean. Recreated and completed her idol, classified as a tribute to the aviation pioneers. We do something for our idol as a tribute, right? And doing a historic airplane. Again, if we are reading that she was the first to do it in a historic airplane, then only we remember it. If she was doing it in a normal airplane, in a sophisticated airplane, then that option is already out. Innovation is out because there is O. If there was and, then innovative would be the right answer. And then educational program, because it says school children. What else can you think of if you hear school children? Education, right? So this is how we have to do fill in the blanks. Again, now guys, there is no tricks, no tips. The only thing is that we have to be logical. We have to use a certain logic for every fill in the blanks. Use grammar skills, contextual knowledge, vocabulary. Collocations, might come sometime or it might not come as well. So this is the way you have to do it. Keep watching my video. All the best to everyone out there. um, if you have any confusion, just let me know in the comment section. If you want to know which website I'm practicing, see the description. So this is called PTE Master, and the reading section is actually free. This is free, so you can simply go there and start practicing for free. All right. So we will do that for today. If you have any confusion, just let me know. Thank you very much for watching my video. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.